Let's go ahead and take a look at using the half-angle formula to find the exact value. Let's go ahead and look at part A. We're going to be taking a look at sine of 22.5 degrees. And keep in mind, we can rewrite this as sine of 45 degrees divided by 2. Alright, that's really how we got the 22.5. And that's going to allow us to go ahead and use one of our half-angle formulas. So if you take a look at your bottom right-hand side of the screen, right, this top formula here is one that matches up with sine of an angle measure divided by 2. So let's go ahead and use this formula. Right, we know this is going to be equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine. Now we need cosine of A. Keep in mind your A value is what comes from the top portion here of your fraction, right? The number that you were dividing by 2, which for us is that 45, right? So our A value here is cosine of 45, and then we can go ahead and divide this by 2. Now, cosine of 45 is going to give you a radical 2 over 2. And this whole thing is divided by 2, and that's all underneath our radical sign. Now, this is going to get a little bit sticky as to how far you want to go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to go ahead and divide each of my pieces up here on top by the 2 that you see in your denominator there. So I'm going to rewrite this as a 1/2 minus radical 2 over 4. And let's take this one just a little bit farther here. I want to be able to subtract these fractions, so I'm going to rewrite them so they have a common denominator of 4. So 2/4 minus that radical 2 over 4 is going to give me positive or negative square root of 2 minus radical 2, all of that over 4. And keep in mind we can break that apart into the square root of the top and the square root of the denominator. And the only part I'm going to simplify here is my denominator piece. That's going to give me a 2. So no more radical in the bottom part. And with regard to this plus minus that you see all the way out here in front, it is not going to be both for your answer. Make sure you're paying attention to the angle measure that you are working with. For us, we're looking for sine of 22.5 degrees. This is going to put us in quadrant 1, and our sine values in quadrant 1 are going to be positive. So my positive answer here, right, not positive and negative, just a positive exact value. And I'm going to go ahead and leave my answer just as you see it. There's a lot of square roots right there, but that's a pretty simplified version, as close as I can get it for part A. Now let's go ahead and look at part B. On this one, we want to find cosine of 5 pi over 2. So let's go ahead and look at our formulas. Right? We're going to be using this one here in the middle. And so we're going to rewrite this as positive negative square root of 1 plus cosine. I need my A value here. Keep in mind my A value is going to be that 5 pi, right? It's already in the form of A over 2. Right? The 2's match up with my denominator, so my A value has to be that 5 pi. So in my formula, I've got cosine of 5 pi. And all of this is over 2. And you can go ahead and do cosine of 5 pi on your calculator. That should give you a -1. And so this is going to give us a positive negative square root of 0 over 2, which is the same thing as saying positive or negative square root of 0. So our final answer here as an exact value for this question is going to be 0.